Hi, boys and girls, and welcome to today's reading lesson. So, the reading lesson I have for you today is about informative texts. These are also called nonfiction texts. And just as a reminder, a nonfiction text is a text or a book that has true facts in it. So, this week we are working with nonfiction. And I have a story that I'm going to share with you, but I have some slides that I want to show you first. So let's take a look. I'm not going to blow these up really big yet because we're going to be adding some things to these slides. When readers are retelling a nonfiction text, it's a little bit different. Remember last week when we were retelling stories, we had a character and a setting and a beginning, middle, and end? Well, that works for a fiction book, but for nonfiction, it's a little bit different. So, if I were to ask you to retell one of your nonfiction books, you would start off by telling me what your book was mostly all about. That's called a main idea. And then you would give me some facts that you found interesting that go along with that main idea. Let's take a further look. You might be wondering what a main idea is. And a main idea is what the book is mostly all about. So when you're reading a nonfiction book, you can be asking yourself as a reader and a thinker, what is this book all about? And that would be your topic, your main idea. The book that we're going to read in a little bit, we're going to go back and fill this in. And we'll get to talk about what the main idea is. The next thing that good readers do when they're reading a nonfiction book, not only do they think about the main idea, they think about the facts that they learn that go along with that main idea. So sometimes we read a nonfiction book to learn more about a topic. And I have a topic picked out for you. It is blue whales, giant mammals. Take a look and a listen as I read today's story. Well, it's a nonfiction book, so it's not really a story. It's written by S.E. Veriglio. This says blue whales, giant mammals. Focus question. What features allow the blue whale, a mammal, to survive in the water? So that's something to be thinking about. A key feature of a nonfiction book is a table of contents. Oftentimes, when you are looking at a nonfiction book, you're reading it to find out information. And what's interesting about a nonfiction book is that you could, if you were looking for something specific about the blue whale, skip ahead to a certain page and read just that section. And the story would still make sense. The book still makes sense because that's something that you're looking for. It's a specific piece of information. But if you were to do that with Goldilocks and the Three Bears, if you were to pick up in the middle of the story, would the story make sense? No. But in nonfiction, it could. It depends on what you're looking for. So this book has a table of contents, and it also has some other key features that we'll get to as we read. Let's open it up. Introduction. Far out at sea, scientists can scan the horizon. They are looking for the largest creature on Earth. You would think that finding an enormous animal would be easy, but oceans are vast and wide. Suddenly, a thunderous roar sounds as the blast of water shoots high into the air. The scientists have found what they are looking for: the mighty, magnificent blue whale. Here's another key feature of a nonfiction book. They have diagrams with labels. They also have photographs with captions. This photograph is captioned, "A blue whale's water spout can shoot over 30 feet in the air." And this is showing how big the blue whale is. So this is the blue whale. Now, here is a human. By comparison, a human is 6 feet tall on average and weighs 175 pounds. The blue whale, from the tip of its nose to the edge of its tail, is 100 feet long and weighs 200 tons. So imagine how many humans long that would be. That's a lot. A blue whale's size is impressive. It could weigh as much as 200 tons and be as long as approximately 100 feet. Its tongue alone weighs as much as an elephant. Its heart is so large that a person could crawl through its main blood vessels. Wowzer! A blue whale's body is as long as a basketball court. Think about that for a minute. That's really big. The blue whale has a mammoth body. Its skin actually looks blue underwater, but from above it looks blue-gray. The underside of a blue whale sometimes appears to be pale yellow thanks to tiny organisms called diatoms that often hitch rides on the whale's skin. So here we have a diagram and it says, what makes a blue whale a mammal? And here are some things that make it a mammal. A blue whale breathes air through blowholes at the top of its head. A blue whale has a baleen, hair-like structures inside of its upper jaw. And a blue whale has a layer of fat called blubber that helps keep it warm. Here are some things that all mammals have in common. They breathe air. They have hair on their bodies at some stage in their development. They are warm-blooded, and they produce milk to feed their babies. Blowholes and blubber. Blue whales live in the sea, but they are not fish. These graceful giants are the world's largest mammals. Blue whales have lungs and breathe air just like humans. They inhale and exhale through 2 blowholes on the top of their heads. In order to breathe, a whale must come to the ocean's surface. The blowholes open and the whale expels air, sending waterspouts up to 30 feet into the sky. Then the whale quickly inhales, filling its massive lungs. All of this happens in under 2 seconds. And the caption says, a flap covers the blue whale's blowholes to keep out water when it dives. I would think that would be very important. A whale breathes in and out several times at the surface before beginning a dive. It uses its flexible spine and wide tail flukes to navigate through the water. Flukes are made up of tissue, not bone, so they are flexible. Blue whales leave circles called fluke prints on the water's surface when they dive. These whales usually cruise along at 5 miles per hour, but they can travel as fast as 20 miles per hour. Blue whales can stay underwater for about 30 minutes. They are considered shallow divers because they rarely go deeper than 700 feet. In contrast, sperm whales dive about 3,280 feet, more than 4 times deeper. This caption says, whale watchers look for fluke prints on the water surface to locate whales. Ocean water can be frigid at such depths, but that's not a problem for blue whales. Like all sea mammals, blue whales have a layer of fat called blubber just beneath their skin. The blubber insulates them from the deep water's chilly temperatures. So here we have an example of what the whale's skin layers look like. So we have the outer layer of skin, the inner layer of skin, And here is the blubber. Look at how thick the blubber layer is. And then we have muscle under that. So that's pretty thick. In addition to keeping whales warm, blubber also helps them float better and swim faster. That's an interesting fact I never knew. A whole lot of little. When blue whales dive, they are searching for their favorite food, krill. Krill are tiny shrimp-like creatures that live in large groups. Swarms of krill can be found near the water surface as well as at the ocean depths greater than 6,000 feet. It may seem strange that the largest mammal in the world feeds on one of the smallest. Blue whales are gargantuan, but their throats are actually very narrow. Their esophagus is only inches wide, so they cannot swallow anything large. Blue whales also have no teeth for chewing. They must swallow their food whole. Hmm. Krill, and even though this is the picture of the big swarm of them, this is an up close picture of what a krill looks like, is the main food in a blue whale's diet. Krill often swarm near the water surface. Instead of teeth, blue whales have plates of baleen in their upper jaws. Baleen is made of keratin, the same material in our hair and fingernails. Baleen plates are just like a mustache growing inside a whale's mouth. Baleen works like a filter. A blue whale opens its mouth and takes a big gulp of seawater full of swimming krill. The whale's throat expands to hold thousands of gallons of seawater. Then the whale closes its mouth and uses its tongue to push the seawater through the baleen and back out into the sea. Because krill cannot pass through the baleen, they stay trapped inside the whale's mouth and are swallowed whole. A blue whale eats about 40 million krill each day. That's a lot of krill. A blue whale has up to 800 baleen plates in its mouth. From sea to shining sea. Blue whales can be found gliding through the depths of every ocean on our planet. They travel alone or in pairs, going wherever krill live. During the summer months, blue whales feed in polar waters. When winter comes, both the krill and the whales migrate toward the equator. A favorite gathering spot for many blue whales is in the Costa Rica Dome off the southern coast of Central America. Wowzer! The grooves on a blue whale's throat expand to help it gulp up to 17,000 gallons of water at a time. And this is showing you where they live. The purpley pink color is showing you all the oceans where they live. So I don't see not one speck of ocean that's not that color. So they truly do live everywhere. Those big baby blues. Female blue whales give birth when they are in warmer water. Their gestation period lasts about 10 to 12 months. A female whale gives birth every 2 or 3 years. Baby blue whales, called calves, weigh more than 5,000 pounds when they are born. Within minutes of birth, a calf swims to the surface with its mother for air. A calf and its mother have a strong bond. They remain together for many months while the calf drinks milk and gains over 200 pounds a day. After about a year, it leaves its mother and becomes independent. This caption says, blue whales give birth in warm waters. Calves have little insulating blubber when they're first born. So that must be important why they stay with their mother. Song of the sea. Blue whales are not only the largest animals in the world, they are also the loudest. These whales can produce sounds louder than a jet engine. Whale songs can travel for miles through the water. Even though whale sounds are loud, they are impossible for people to hear without a special equipment. Some scientists think that whales use sonar to help them find their way through dark ocean waters, much the way bats navigate. Other scientists think that whales sing to communicate with each other. Scientists do know that only male whales sing. They've also discovered that whales in different parts of the world sing slightly different songs. That seems similar to how people from different parts of the world speak different languages. Conclusion. Whale songs are just one of the behaviors of blue whales that scientists hope to better understand. Much is still unknown about the habits of these enormous creatures. In the early to mid 20th century, so many blue whales were hunted that they were nearly driven to extinction. Their numbers have only slightly recovered since then. As an endangered species, blue whales are protected by the International Whaling Commission. Despite these efforts, it's estimated that only 10 to 25,000 of these magnificent creatures survive today. Scientists continue their research, hoping to acquire new knowledge about these gentle giants to help ensure their survival for many more generations to come. And the last caption says, once, over 300,000 blue whales lived in the world's oceans. Now there are only about 10 to 25,000. That's so sad. So the special feature that I was talking to you about from the table of contents is also something at the end. It's called a glossary. If you've heard of a dictionary before, a dictionary has all the words and their definitions. A glossary is like a dictionary, except it has the special words that were in this book and what they mean and where they're found. They also have the back, which has some words to know. Sometimes they'll have like an index as well, but this book doesn't have it. So going back to my slides, I would say, what was the main idea of our book that we just read? It was all about what? If you said blue whales, you're right. It was all about blue whales. And what were two new facts you learned? Well, I learned that they eat krill and that they are endangered. Sadly, those are two new facts that I learned, that they eat krill and they are endangered. Those are two new facts. So, if I were to ask you, what was the main idea of blue whales, giant mammals, you would say the main idea was blue whales. It was all about them. And some new facts that we learned. You might have some different facts, but the ones I picked are they eat krill and that they're endangered. Go ahead in your reading today and choose a nonfiction book and think about your main idea and key details. Off you go, readers.